In today's episode of Tristan Take Video, 5 ways that you can ride your bike faster for free with professional cyclist and Giro d'Italia stage winner, Chad Haga. Chad is a 10-year veteran of the pro cycling peloton. He's ridden 12 Grand Tours, including the Tour de France and the Vuelta a España, and in stage 21 of the 2019 Giro, Chad studied the course, he pedaled his bike hard, he descended like a madman, and he came up with the win. He's more than qualified to talk about going quick, and in today's episode, he's gonna do just that. So without further ado, let's get out for a ride with Chad, then we'll get into it. This is Faster for Free with a Pro Cyclist. Enjoy. Alrighty, so we are out here with Chad Haga. It's rest day here at the Human Powered Health Training Camp. So we're just going out for a nice little 1-hour cruise and having a coffee stop here at the cafe. As I said, I want to ask Chad a bunch of questions about how to go fast for free. So without going too far into what we're doing here, just tell me, what is your point number 1, something that you came up with that you think is one of the best ways people can ride their bike faster?
I think that the easiest way to get free speed is to be aero, but it takes effort to be aero, and so use that effort when it matters the most. Wind drag is an exponential curve, so the faster you're going, the more and more it matters to be aero. So that's the combination of your speed and the wind speed. If you're going 30k an hour into a 20k an hour headwind, that's 50k an hour wind speed. So getting low, holding that aero position really can save you a lot there. But 40k an hour with a 20k an hour tailwind, it doesn't matter so much to be aero. So save that effort there. It'll save your triceps and your shoulders a little bit.
It's interesting because when you say when there's a tailwind, like if you're going 40k an hour with a 20k an hour tailwind, you can actually relax at that point. You don't need to try and max out your speed because you're not actually gaining a lot of seconds.
A good way to tell if it's a good moment to focus on being aero is the sound of wind in your ears. Like if the wind is super loud, then you should be aero. But if it's quiet, then there's not that much wind resistance and you can relax or sit up.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. So that's point number 1. Perfect. Amazing. Thanks so much. So that's point number 1, is being aero and using your energy to be aero in an effective way. What is your point number 2 for riding your bike fast?
Same as it takes energy to be aero, it takes energy to go fast, and use it where it matters the most. So on any given course, whether it's a long ride or a short TT, go hardest where it's slowest. So that's climbs or headwinds, and then you take your recovery where you can go fast for less effort.
So you want to use your energy on the climbs and then recover on the descents.
Yeah, if you're pushing 100 watts extra on a downhill, you can gain a few seconds. If you do the same effort extra on a climb, you can gain half a minute, depending on the length of the climb.
Is that because as you go faster, it's harder to go faster?
Yeah, it's all about wind resistance. The faster you go, the more work it takes to get just a little bit more speed.
Okay, cool. So I think you're going to touch on this in a later point, but just tell me what you're saying is like space your energy, like understand the course and space your energy over the course of the course.
Yes. Yeah, everything you do takes energy. So whether that's aero position or the effort you're putting into the pedals, use it where it's going to gain you the most. So climbs, high wind resistance moments, you gotta use it out over the course of the course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So just to duck back a second, back to your point number 1 about being aero in the aero position, how much time do you spend in training practicing being aero?
Well, I'll do specific efforts that are in the aero position, whether it's on the TT bike. I spend a lot of time doing intervals on the TT bike, producing power in that position, also training my shoulders to hold the position during high output, as well as on the road bike doing speed work where I'm doing intervals on flat ground, focused on doing it in the aero position.
So a portion of your training is focused on the position, your upper body position, not just power output, but holding the body position to get yourself used to pushing that power in that position.
Exactly.
Okay, sweet. And so on to point number 3. What's your point number 3 for riding bikes fast?
Practice your technique, your braking, your shifting, the lines you take through corners. Because if you can come through a corner with the correct exit speed and the right gear on the right line, that's free speed. You can immediately power out of the corner, and even if you're not riding at the limit, you can save a lot of effort on descents, for example. If you have the right gear and the right line to accelerate up to speed, you don't have to sprint back up to speed, or you just maintain a more consistent speed throughout the downhill.
So one thing I've said quite a few times in vlogs, and I always say it to myself and I try and tell it to anyone who asks, is when people are learning to ride their bike fast, I always say slow is smooth and smooth becomes fast. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Focus on taking your time and braking earlier and taking the right lines, mastering that technique, and then as it gets better and better, you'll be braking later and you won't have to think as much about it. Taking your time earlier as you learn and improve is the best way to do it, rather than just going bananas and making mistakes and eventually getting faster.
Yeah, cool. All right, good advice. Alrighty, so that's point number 3. Jumping into point number 4, what's your point number 4 for us?
Maintain your gear. Keep it clean. If it's a noisy drivetrain, it's a slow drivetrain. You can spend a ton of money on chain lubes, getting the fastest stuff out there, but any lube on a clean chain is going to be faster than a dirty bike.
And people are spending so much money on bikes only to leave them filthy in the hallway or something like this.
And you also wear out your drivetrain faster, and that's expensive later on down the line if you don't maintain it. So we're talking about speed for free. It's a good way to save money.
Yeah, true. So for you guys, obviously, here at the training camp, you have professional mechanics working on your bikes every day, keeping them clean, keeping the drivetrains clean. But what do you do at home? What's your sort of go-to in terms of a wash or a chain lube or baby wipes?
I've got a good setup at home to keep my bikes clean, so it's thankfully not too much effort. But if I've only got a couple minutes to wash my bike and focus on the drivetrain, the degreaser, run it with a brush, just get it as well as possible, spray it out, dry it off, lube it.
Tell us, have you ever done the old run out of chain lube and gone to the shops and bought some olive oil and put it on your chain? You ever done that one?
We ended up doing that at a race in Uruguay a decade ago, and we ran out of lube when a lot of our luggage didn't arrive. It turned out to be a bit of a conspiracy thing, but
those Uruguayans didn't want you winning.
It didn't work, but yes, that's basically what happened.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so you resort to anything. So again, a clean, slightly lubricated chain is always going to be faster than a filthy drivetrain.
Yeah.
And then just one more little thing in terms of maintaining your gear. Obviously, tire pressure has a massive effect on how fast you roll, and also the quality of your tires. You guys are sponsored by Goodyear for the tires. You're still in testing with these tires, and are you finding that you prefer for rolling speed a certain tire pressure?
We've done some experimentation with tire pressure, and for rolling speed, I'm not certain exactly the correlation between pressure and speed, but I can definitely feel a difference in the corners with different pressures. So especially in kind of greasy conditions right now, it's cornering traction is what I care more about than rolling speed.
How much do you weigh and what tire pressure are you usually going for?
So 72 kilos, and actually I'm not sure what tire pressure we've settled at. With tubeless, it's lower than I would have imagined.
Tubeless is quite different, hey?
Yeah, I think it's about 4 bars. I'm not sure what that is in PSI.
Maybe about 50 PSI, 60 PSI.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's low, hey?
It's way so much lower than I would have imagined.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So finding a tire pressure that works for you around corners is super important. Obviously, that'll play into the average speed over the course of a whole ride, but that's something to play around with. For you guys at home, don't worry about going too low in the tire pressure. There's been quite a few studies lately that are saying that lower tire pressure does actually equal a smoother roll, and again, smoother often ends up being faster.
And another free tip for free speed is check your tires before every ride. A puncture is way slower than anything else.
Yeah, exactly right. This is very good advice from a pro. Alrighty, so we're up to tip number 5. What have you got for us, tip number 5?
Nutrition, fueling this whole expedition. It needs to be catered towards the effort that you're going to do that day. If it's short and intense, you need more fast-acting sugars. If it's just a long endurance ride, you can do more solid foods that take a bit more time and effort to eat and process. Just think through when and how you're going to eat it. If it's a bunch of intense climbing, it might not be ideal to have bars that are tough to eat unless you're good at eating on a descent.
Obviously, eating is not a free thing. It costs costs money, but there are ways. I mean, we always recommend, like any athlete will recommend, the highest quality nutrition you can get. But if you can't get super high quality nutrition, or you don't have the means, or you're not spending the money on it, first of all, consider spending the money on it, because you've spent the money on the bike and the kit and the helmet and the shoes. Nutrition should be a part of that. But then on top of that, would you say something like putting sugar in your bottles is going to be more effective than just drinking water? And if you've got nothing left in your cupboard, put some white sugar in your water bottles. Is that good advice, or is that terrible advice?
It's better than nothing, but you can blow out your stomach if you overdo it that way. So that is a really last-ditch effort. Yeah, when it comes to spending money, it would be better to have a slightly slower bike and fuel for your rides than a really fancy bike and you're riding around bonked all the time.
Yeah, true. So a deep set of wheels is not necessarily going to make you faster. If you can't push them, you can't get them up to speed. Do you have any more advice on nutrition in terms of like recovery? If you're going away on a holiday and you're doing multiple days of riding back to back to back, you need to recover each night, fueling for the following day. So do you have some advice on that? Obviously from a grand tour perspective where you're fueling for 3 weeks, tell me what your thoughts are on fueling for the day to come.
Yeah, the fueling already starts during the ride. If you finish the ride in the hole, then you're already set behind for the day before. So start eating early in the ride, eat throughout the ride, and then as soon as it's done, get a meal in to start recovering. Then you'll be on the better foot for the next day. For
you, give us your personal sort of go-to dinner when you're at home. What do you usually aim for when you're coming home and eating after a ride?
It'd be a big bowl of carbs, whether that's rice or pasta or bread, and then whatever leftovers you have for the day. So carb heavy with some protein and a lot of it. Fuel me up for the afternoon with the kids.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is more is often better, hey? People
Yeah.
get so hung up on like, if I eat too much, I might weigh a little bit more. It's like, no, you'll actually have more fuel in the tank to...
My tactic is a huge lunch, and more is better, and then if it was too much, I'll have a smaller dinner.
Cool, and then little bonus point I want to ask you about. Chad is a Grand Tour stage winner, 2019 Giro d'Italia. You won that stage because of a careful recon of the course and spending a good couple of weeks reconning the course on Google Maps and things like that, and saving yourself. Obviously, you put out maximum speed that day to the point where you won the stage. Can you tell me more about what you were doing in terms of that lead up to the event, in terms of that one single stage, and how you ended up getting the win?
So, from the physical aspect, I spent 2 weeks from the stage 9 time trial until stage 21. I tailgunned the Giro d'Italia. I was in the gruppetto every day. I saved every possible mesh that I could so that I could empty the tank on the last day.
So you were going in gruppetto every single day with the purpose of saving your legs for that 21, stage 21. So you said from stage 9, what happened on stage 9, and then why did that then set you up for stage 21?
Well, so our entire team was there in support of Tom Dumoulin's going for the GC, and he crashed out on stage 5. So we were given free rein to target stages as we wished. My first goal was the stage 9 time trial, which was a long one that didn't suit me perfectly, and I think I got 6th on that one. So then I said, okay, the last one suits me even better. What if I go absolutely all in and do nothing else for this entire race except for that 20 minutes? And it ended up working out, but that's what it took for me to pull that off.
Okay, so not only from a physical standpoint of riding as easy as possible every day, but also then in terms of looking at the course and focusing on the things that you've spoken about with us today in this video, about line choice and things like that. You had been doing some research on Google, from what I understand?
Yeah, for those 2 weeks also, off the bike, I was on Google Maps, reconning every corner, so that already in the recon, I was doing corners pretty fast, so that in the race I could dive into corners with no brakes and full confidence that I was on the right line. This last year, they repeated that course. It's the final stage of the Giro, and I still have the KOM on the descent, so I went very fast.
Okay, so in that TT, I remember hearing, or you've told me in the past, that basically it was on the descent where you pulled out about a second each corner, or a couple of seconds each corner, to the person who came second.
Yeah, to doing the Strava comparison with Thomas de Gendt, who was 3rd, just a few seconds back. It was about a second every corner. You could see every corner on the analysis.
So when you did like a Strava flybys or a side-by-side comparison.
The side-by-side comparison, it was a stair step down on every corner.
So you were just pulling out that 1 second. And so this is where sort of understanding the course and where to use your energy and how to corner well all plays into moving fast on the bike.
Yeah, and like I was not the fastest person up the climb today. Kind of the beauty of time trials is the fastest person to get to the finish. It's not about who pushes the most watts. I was not even, all my efforts to save, I wasn't even the strongest that day. I just I had everything.
So going fast, I mean, as you can hear from what Chad's saying, going fast is a combination of lots of things. It's not just about pushing massive watts or just about being aero. It's about pushing the right watts, but also being aero, but also fueling well, but also understanding the course, but also knowing where to use your energy and how to save energy as well. So I think this is really good advice. Alrighty, cool. So that is 5 pieces of advice. We're gonna get back to riding our bikes now. Well, finish our coffee first, get back to riding our bikes. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to give it a big
like and subscribe.
Yes. I didn't even have to prompt him on that one.
I've been around.
You've done this before. Alrighty, catch you guys soon. Cheers, guys. See you.